Right, radio check, testing, 1, 2, 3. All right, hopefully you guys should be able to hear me. Apologies for the delay. I was actually messing with the delay settings on YouTube to make sure that the stream is only 10 seconds behind rather than 30 seconds behind. So apologies for the 5-second time penalty there, or a 1-minute time penalty for the stream starting. But yeah, we'll be getting underway for qualifying in about 34 minutes or so. Just the usual qualifying session here at Singapore. It'll be 18 minutes for Q1, 15 minutes for Q2, and 12 minutes for Q3. Yeah, should be good. All right. So what have we got to talk about then? We have got quite a few things, to be honest. So the first thing being, of course, who is going to be getting pole position? Is it going to be Max? Is it going to be Oscar Piastri? Is it going to be one of the Mercedes drivers? Is it going to be Norris? Is Hamilton going to put together a really special lap? Are Ferrari going to change some things in between FP3 and QUALI, and are they going to be in good form? Who knows what's going to happen, but I can tell you it's going to be extremely close in qualifying today. Extremely close indeed. We've got Max Verstappen, who is in first at the end of FP3, and he's only a 10th clear of the drivers who are in second, third, fourth, and fifth. So it's super duper tight, the top 5 within a 10th of a second. Okay. Is SRF or RF showing the qualifying? It is going to be SRF. SRF will be showing the qualifying today. So what you can do, in fact, I will put the little thing up on the screen right now. I forgot to put it up earlier in the weekend, but essentially, yeah, to watch Formula One, you pay $2 a month to get Surfshark VPN. You join the Swiss VPN server. You go onto Google, search SRF Formula One, and then you can watch the Formula One coverage. So yeah, enjoy. All right, the SRF coverage will start in about 15 minutes or so. It normally starts 15 minutes before the start of a session. Right. My top 5 predictions. Ooh, I mean, this is a tough one, isn't it? I can tell you the drivers that I think are going to be in the top 5. And I think I can't tell you which order, though. And the 2 McLarens, Max Verstappen, George Russell, and who's going to be my last driver in the top 5? I'm going to go with Isaac Hadjar. Yeah, I think Isaac Hadjar's going to be making it up into the top 5. So, we'll see. Will Hamilton get a penalty? I don't know. He was investigated after the session, but nothing sort of really came of that. So I will double check and see what's sort of been going on there with Lewis Hamilton's situation. And yeah, also my phone isn't charging. Why is that? Wait, give me a sec, folks. All right, that's all right. Williams' podium potential. Well, they look to be pretty good in FP3. However, their pace in these conditions where it is at a high downforce track just never is all that amazing. So I don't really know if Williams is going to be up there or not. Sainz did have a good lap. Alex Albon not so much. So yeah, I can't really tell you for certain, but hopefully they can do well. Hopefully Sainz can continue on in good form after his podium. Why would Hamilton be getting a penalty? It is because he was driving quickly under red flag conditions. Yeah, red flag conditions. He sort of accelerated under red flag conditions, which was strange. I don't know exactly why or what caused him to do that, but yeah, so he's currently under investigation for that. By the looks of it, they haven't sort of published anything. They would have, if Hamilton was getting a 10-place grid penalty, it would have been all over the headlines by now. So I suspect nothing is happening, but yeah, I don't really know. Okay. Is Lawson going to be in quali? Yes, Lawson will be in quali. Even though he damaged the car in yesterday in practice and today in practice as well, he will be able to take part. They have sufficient spare parts, and yeah, it was just the front right that he damaged again. So yeah, they should be okay with that. Okay. What else have we got going on in the chat? What do you think about Verstappen's chances? Well, you know, his pace looks pretty good in free practice 3, but McLaren's, they always gain a pretty big step in between FP3 and quali, more so than other teams, really. And yeah, I think that's just going to carry them through in towards the rest of the qualifying session, and that's probably going to be something that is a pretty big defining factor. The question is, how big of a step can Max Verstappen make compared to the McLarens? Because we know for a certain the McLarens will be making a step, and we just don't know how big that will be and how big, how much Max Verstappen will be able to compare to it. So that is, that's the problem, really. Worst luck in the world. Yeah, Fernando Alonso did have some pretty bad luck, to be honest. Getting that DNF as well, the mechanical DNF in Monza, then just bad luck with other engine issues, and then bad strategy, bad safety cars catching him out. Really hasn't been ideal there for Fernando, and yeah, maybe things will get turned around in this weekend. F1 Gamer, good to be here. Hope all is good. Indeed it is, folks. Anyone that's not tuned in for the practice streams is tuning in now. All things are going well. I hope everything is going well for you guys as well. Maybe my audio is ever so slightly different. If you are noticing that, it's because I've moved out my parents' house and back to university, because university starts now in the UK. So yeah, that's why my audio sounding slightly different, because I'm getting a little bit more sort of echoes off my bedroom walls and stuff like that. So yeah. Okay. What do you think for Ferrari? I mean, Ferrari should be able to make a step forward, but I don't know if they're going to be able to compete with the McLarens and the Mercedes. They look really close together, and yeah, the Ferraris are 4/10 off, 4/10, 3/10 off. So I think that's unlikely that they're going to be able to make that big of a step, but you know, Hamilton could put together a really good lap, so could Charles. So, yeah, I don't really know what will happen at the end of the day. Hamilton cleared of a penalty. Okay, that is good news then for Hamilton. I don't know how he got cleared for a penalty, because I think he was like pretty clearly accelerating under red flag conditions, but must have got away with it somehow. There must have been some reason for it. The stewards are normally pretty harsh with the red flag rulings. Oh no, it says that he's still under investigation. At least on the official Formula One sort of qualifying broadcast that they have on their website, it says that Hamilton's still under investigation. So, who knows? When is quali, folks? It says there on the screen, 25 minutes and 45 seconds till we get underway. Where do you see Cadillac slotting in with the drivers that they have? Well, Cadillac have one of the most experienced drivers on the grid, so they should be pretty good in terms of driver development, in terms of improving the car throughout the season. However, I don't think they're going to be starting near the top of the pack. You know, most teams that do join Formula One, they start at the back, and the fact that they do have Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas contributing towards car development, one of the two most experienced drivers in Formula One as of right now. They're just an excellent team, and I think that they're going to progress a lot throughout the field, and they're going to make some significant steps forward, but probably still not going to be fighting for podiums and stuff like that, to be honest. Yeah. Okay. F1 Gamer, could you make a Discord server at 200k subs? Yeah, I probably could, actually. I will. I'll figure something out, but yeah. Well, we need to first hit 200k subs, you know. We'll see if we can hit 199k subs today. I think we could actually hit 200k subs in this stream itself, which would be pretty cool. But yeah, let's see. Did they fix Lawson's car already? Yes, they will be. They will be fixing Lawson's car pretty quick, and he'll be taking part in quali. Also, folks, can you give me just a few minutes? For whatever reason, my laptop is not charging, and if my laptop doesn't charge, then yeah, I'm not going to be able to read chat while the stream's going on. So give me about 30 seconds. I need to just figure out why it isn't charging and just replug it in or something. But yeah, I'll be back in 30 seconds. All right, brilliant. It's charging now. So that's fixed. Good news, good news. Okay, 23 minutes remain of this, of the countdown to quali. Well, let's run through a couple of other things then. So we have got, of course, the driver's standings. Max Verstappen, 69 points behind Oscar Piastri. Very nice indeed. But with only 7 races left to go of the season, he's going to have to gain at least 10 points every single race to get ahead of Oscar Piastri, which is going to be a tough one considering the McLarens are pretty quick and the Red Bull is not consistently quick. Another thing I'd like to talk about Max Verstappen championships chances. If he is, if you are a Max Verstappen fan and you want to see him win the championship, then your outcome for today needs to be that Max gets pole position by quite a significant margin, really, because the difference between this circuit and Baku is that, well, they're the totally polar opposites. They're both street circuits, of course, but Baku is very much about top straight line speed and top speed, and Singapore is much more about the downforce levels. So if Red Bull can have a car that operates amazingly in top speed circuits and also circuits that are very much slow speed, high downforce oriented, then Max will have a shot, a very, very small shot, but he has a shot. And of course it's Max Verstappen, so he's going to try his absolute best. But in Max Verstappen's word, there's a 50% chance he wins the championship. Either he wins it or he doesn't. So he's not really thinking about that right now. His main job is to put together the best possible final 7 races of the season that the world has ever seen, because that is what he's going to need to be able to overhaul both McLaren drivers. He probably will also need a bit of luck, with Oscar Piastri or Lando Norris getting DNFs or getting mechanical issues or getting, knocked out of Q2 because of badly timed yellow flags or getting caught out by safety cars. He's going to need a bit of luck on his side, but so does every single world champion. You never win a world championship without an element of luck. And if let's just say Max is down in 6th position in today's qualifying session, then it's unlikely that the car is going to be good for the rest of the season. So then it's just a straight fight between Oscar Piastri and Lando Norris. And, well, with 25 points between them, it can go either way. Now, of course, it's in Oscar Piastri's favour because he's in the lead as of right now. And his job, obviously, is just to finish ahead of Lando Norris. But is also to make sure that in any scenario where he isn't in first position, Lando Norris is also not quick and also stays behind him. Like Papaya orders, or what's it called, Papaya rules is going straight out the window, to be honest. Like, absolutely. Piastri's not going to care, and they're not going to be talking about, oh yes, please can you DNF to make it fair, or please can you swap the position around to make it fair. Like, this is just straight out the window now. With 25 points between the two drivers, 7 races left to go, this is when the going gets tough. And yeah, it's going to be tough for Piastri this weekend, I think, because if we look back throughout the season, right, I'd say the toughest street circuits that we do have are Monaco, then we have Baku, and then we have Singapore. These are probably the 3 toughest street circuits that we have on the Formula One world calendar. And Piastri, at the Monaco Grand Prix, after Friday, he said that was quite possibly the worst Friday I've ever had in my racing career. I've hit the wall more times today than I have at any other point in my life. So he had a pretty tough time in Monaco. Then if we look towards Baku, he also had 3 total crashes. He had a crash in quali, had a crash in practice, and also then a crash in the race as well. So street circuits, probably not the best, the strongest suit of Oscar Piastri. So we'll see what he can do. In FP3, he did end up ahead of Lando Norris by, well, a very, very small margin. And Norris was looking particularly good in all of the other practice sessions. His middle sectors times, Norris's, were just outstanding, and nobody else could really get close. And the middle sector is the slow speed sector where you need absolute commitment. You need to be millimeters away from the barriers to gain all the lap time, and Lando Norris was showing that. So maybe it's going to be good for Lando Norris, but he also said, oh, it's not the same feeling that I had when I won here last year. And, well, I don't know Lando Norris got pole here last year as well. The pole time that you can see up on the screen from 2024 was set by Lando Norris, and he says that he's not got the same feeling, not got the same rhythm, and we'll see how it goes. Of course, at that point in the season last year, everyone was talking about, Lando Norris could win the championship because Red Bull has got so bad. And, Norris was sort of on the upwards hype cycle. Everyone was talking about him. Everyone was hyping him up. Oh, maybe he could do this. Maybe he could. And right now, it's sort of very much the polar opposite. It's like, can Lando Norris do this? Can he deal with all of the pressure? Is he going to be able to out-qualify Oscar Piastri? So maybe, that sort of mental aspect is what's affected his rhythm. And we'll see if you can bounce back from that. Same thing for Piastri after that horrible opening lap in Baku and then just DNFing from the race. He is going to have a big comeback as well. Okay. Also, I'm going to take you through a lap of the circuit. So here we go then. So flying lap of the circuit, I'll make this ever so slightly bigger. All right, so big thing around here in Singapore is tap the brakes here. You start your flying lap. Your brakes are going to be, this is the final point to warm up your brakes really before you go in towards turn number 1. So tap the brakes and get them reasonably hot so you can have a good braking performance into turn number 1. Your tyres probably going to be slightly under temperature, but going through the final 2 high-speed corners, that'll really warm them up, and then you're ready to go to start your flying lap. Brake all the way on the right hand side here, all over the curb and all over the painted section, because it does have a lot of grip in dry conditions. In the wet, like we may have tomorrow, it's going to be very, very slippery, so it's best to stay away, but for now it is good conditions there. Clip the first apex and then follow the curbing of turn number 2 all throughout the corner, then brake in a straight line for turn number 3 to maximize your braking performance. Get the late apex so you can carry a lot of speed towards the next corner. Turn number 5, again, this corner is probably the epitome of slow in, fast out, because your entry speed literally doesn't matter. You could brake probably 20 meters earlier and you probably wouldn't even lose that much lap time because it is all about the exit. The corner even tightens up ever so slightly. It's really, really wide at the entry of turn number 5, and then on the exit it becomes much, much narrower. So it's all about nailing that exit, judging exactly where that barrier is. Then as you go in towards turn number 7, again, another 90-degree corner. Big thing for this corner, actually, this exit curb. We had Liam Lawson actually get a bunch of oversteer on this exit curb and then go into the barriers. But the other thing about this curb is if you do go, so currently I've got one wheel on it, but if I'm another wheel width across, what happens is the middle of your car just bottoms out on the curb and you sort of get dragged out wide, which is the exact opposite of what you want to do, because you want to be coming over to the left-hand side. If you get dragged out to the right-hand side, you're in the wrong position for the next corner, which is another right-hander, so you want to be all the way over to the left. Again, miss the inside apex because it's so easy to clip the apex and then it just throw you off into the barrier. And then you continue on throughout the second sector, heading towards turn number 10 here. Again, straight line braking, and at this point, you're never really fully going on the throttle, you're never really fully going on the brakes. You're just trying to ease the car through, not try to overheat the tyres too much as well. And same thing for this corner, super duper late apex. You take it as deep as you can on the entry and then straight line the exit as early as you possibly can, because you've got a DRS zone there as well. Short shift to reduce your wheel spin, reduce your tyre temperature when you're going for your pole position lap. And then you've got turn number 14. Again, this the curbing and the wall situation at turn number 14 is a little bit tricky, so I'll just play that through again. And the situation that you get here is that you hit this apex and you've got this wall / barrier here on the left hand side with the Singapore GP written all over it. And then what happens is this barrier just goes back 2-3 meters in towards away from the circuit, away from the apex, and then you get this exit curb presented there. And it's a really good exit curb to drive on. It gives you a lot of grip, and a lot of drivers do drive all over it to carry as much speed as they possibly can. But then the problem is that if you misjudge that turn and your rear wheel clips the barrier before it sort of pushes itself away from you, then, well, you're in big trouble. So the drivers really do have to judge that one perfectly. They have a little bit of it's a little bit easier for them because after that corner they've got a nice long straight, so they don't have to be focusing onto the next corner immediately. They can just focus on one thing at a time, and that's why we haven't seen too many issues there. But we have seen drivers lock up actually at turn 14, a few lockups here and there, and then they go straight on. Bring out the yellow flags as well, which is another thing that is yeah, bring out the yellow flags, which is, well, could be used as a strategy to secure pole position if you want to. Yeah, we had George Russell lock up here actually. At this point in the lap, your rear tyres are really, really hot. So what the drivers actually do is they move the brake balance forward ever so slightly to reduce the load on the rear tyres. And I think George Russell learnt this lesson, well, in a very hard way during FP1, where he didn't do that. He didn't shift the brake balance forward. And as he turned the car in towards this corner, the rear wheels just locked up because they did not have enough grip. They were too hot. And yeah, the car snapped out from underneath him, and then he went flying into the barriers. So you do have to be careful, and those are the tiny little things you have to be careful of on your quali laps to extract every little bit of performance. And I'm sure if we watch the onboards and you look at what Max Verstappen's doing on his steering wheel, and you look what Lando Norris is doing, then you'll be able to see all of those sort of things. Okay, so here we go then, folks. 13 minutes till we get underway for qualifying. Very nice, very nice. Is it raining today? Unfortunately not. Unfortunately, it is not raining. I would have loved for it to rain, but the weather is dry today. It looks like it may rain tomorrow, but it is still a little bit unpredictable. I'm sure any of you that do live in sort of the tropical regions of the world where you do get these sort of sudden thunderstorms, you know that the forecast is never really all that accurate, and the best policy is always just to carry around an umbrella just in case. And yeah, so the forecast earlier, the forecast yesterday said that it would rain 4 hours before the race. The forecast, if you check it today, it says it's going to rain during the race. But I'll check it tomorrow morning and it'll be something totally different. So we shall wait and see. All right, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. Yeah, 12 minutes now. All right. So what have we got going on here? Oh my god, 5,000 people tuned in. Thank you everyone for tuning in, by the way. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. If you're new to the channel, welcome to the F1 Gamer channel. Yeah, we'll be getting underway for qualifying very, very shortly, and should be an exciting session, to be honest. 4 o'clock downpour, not guaranteed anymore. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's sort of unpredictable, really. Let me refresh the weather forecast. Oh, I've refreshed the weather forecast and it's disappeared again. So yeah, the weather forecast has changed, and now it's saying the chance of rain for the race is 10%. So looks like we're not getting any rain, folks. I mean, to be honest, Singapore has enough chaos as it is. I'm pretty sure we've had a safety car every single year apart from 1 or 2 years that we've raced here at Singapore. So yeah, I wouldn't get too worried about the fact that we don't have any rain. Okay. Alrighty then. Looks like the qualifying data has just come through, so let me get that up on the screen. It's coming through in about 20 seconds or so. Brilliant. Can you explain next year's changes? Well, next year's changes, what they're doing is they're adding a little bit more battery capacity to the cars. They are making them slightly slower, and also they're trying to make the racing ever so slightly better. But I don't think I'm going to be able to explain all of the changes in about 10 minutes time. It requires its own sort of dedicated video. So the thing they are doing is they're removing DRS, and what they're doing is they're adding active aero. So what happens is, you're going down the straights, and it's very similar to the DRS function. You sort of get rid of the rear wing and you just have as much top speed as possible, and then you go into the corners, you add a bunch of downforce onto the car by modifying the angle of the front wing. Mal, thanks for the donation. Did Lewis get a penalty? Sorry, I'm late. Don't worry about being late, folks. Well, I mean, we're still 10 minutes away from the start of the quali. It's sort of like auto DRS, yes. And yeah. All right. So what was I going to say? More weight, slower cars, just what F1 wants. Yeah, it's not ideal, really. But who knows what'll happen. I'll check about the Hamilton penalty. To be honest, I really don't know, because they should just be a little bit more clear about it. Currently, it still says that Hamilton, it says that he's in hot water and it's still being reviewed. Oh no, Hamilton has avoided grid penalties. Okay, so this has been confirmed by the official Formula One broadcast, and they've said Hamilton avoided any such grid penalties and is very much in the fight for pole tonight. So I don't know about the fight for pole, but Hamilton has avoided grid penalties. Yeah. And one of my friends has actually just messaged me saying that they're watching my live stream. Well, hello, hello. Hope you are enjoying. All right. What else? Oh, I feel like Alex Dunn will replace Lindblad. Yeah, I don't know why McLaren actually released Alex Dunn's contract. They couldn't come to an agreement on how much money and how long Alex Dunn should be in the McLaren Driver Academy. But Alex Dunn is now currently looking to get signed by the Red Bull Driver Academy, which is interesting because, well, Red Bull doesn't have the best history of treating its young drivers well. And also, they kind of have a situation right now where they have too many young drivers. If you look at it, they've got Max, who's clearly their number one. Then Tsunoda is not really a young driver anymore, but he is very much part of the Red Bull family. But the question is, with Honda leaving Red Bull, Yuki Tsunoda is also reasonably likely to go. Then you've got Liam Lawson, and then you also have Isaac Hadjar, then Arvin Lindblad, and then you're also going to sign Alex Dunn. Alex Dunn looks really good as well. He's driven for 2 practice sessions, I think, with the McLaren team, and in those 2 practice sessions, he has delivered outstanding performances, matching either Norris or Piastri within about a tenth of a second, and he's only had an hour's practice in quali as well, in free practice. So Alex Dunn is he looks to be good for the future, but getting signed up to the Red Bull Driver Academy is an interesting choice to say the least. But, where else can he really look? He could look towards the Mercedes Driver Academy, but that has sort of fell apart in recent couple of years. They've had Antonelli come through, but apart from that, does Mercedes really have any big names coming through? So maybe Mercedes could talk, with Mercedes, because it's much more, I think it'd be much more ideal if, he worked with a Mercedes customer team like maybe Williams, but I think Williams are already have got their own solid feet right now. They were struggling back in 2019. That's when they signed George Russell on via Mercedes. But now, they got Carlos Sainz, Alex Albon. I think they're happy with those two. So what is Alex Dunn to do? All right. What are some specifications of this circuit? Well, we're going to have 62 laps of racing around here in Singapore, and some specifications of the circuit. I mean, it's a street circuit, really. It's very, very narrow. Track temperatures are going to be, you see there at the end of FP3, we had track temperatures at 39 degrees Celsius, and now if we go to the QUALI data, it's down to 35 degrees Celsius. So track temperatures have dropped. They will continue dropping throughout the rest of the day, rest of the qualifying session. So that means that the drivers are going to have more sort of wiggle room to push, more wiggle room to overheat their tyres slightly because the track isn't so hot. All right. There's always Alpine. The Alpine Driver Academy, probably not amazing here, is it? They got in Jack Doohan, and then they fired him after about 4 races, and then Jack Doohan is sort of just in no man's land. It doesn't look like he's going to be finding his seat in Formula One, and that's purely because Colapinto has got a lot of money in his pocket. Did the VPN winners be announced? I'll be announcing the winners for the VPN giveaway on tomorrow's stream. Yeah. All right. Does lesser track temps mean that the tyre advantage should be lesser for McLaren? Yeah, that's true, but that's normally for the race. During qualifying, the tyre advantage that McLaren have isn't really relevant, so I wouldn't worry about that too much. One thing that we will keep an eye out on is the top speeds. I think the quickest top speed that we saw during the FP3 sessions was 302 kilometers per hour. So yeah, we'll probably be getting slightly higher top speeds, but if someone is, very strangely high. You know, if they're 4 or 5 kilometers extra, then we could sort of figure out that they're running a low downforce setup and trying to get pole position here. Because okay, let's put it this way. If your car has not got the outright pace for pole position, but it is close, for example, like George Russell, like Max Verstappen maybe, your strategy is, what you could do is knock off a little bit of downforce, so you're quicker in qualifying, but you're slower in the race. But then if you knock off the downforce and get pole position, that means you will have clean air, all the drivers behind you will have dirty air, and your race pace performance is actually the same as anyone else in dirty air. So that's the Hail Mary strategy. If you want to take that risk and try and go for pole, that's the way to do it. And we'll keep our eyes peeled. You know, if Verstappen has an extra 4 kilometers per hour in top speed, if Russell has an extra 4 kilometers per hour in top speed, it'll be pretty easy to tell. And at that point, we'll know who's going for pole position and who is going to be, trying their absolute hardest to get that. Will Charles Leclerc ever win a world championship? I don't know, actually. Because Charles Leclerc, honestly, is one of the most talented drivers we've seen on the grid. And I think if you remember back to when Seb Vettel left Ferrari, he actually signed Charles Leclerc's helmet and said, "Don't waste your talent. It's one of the best that I've seen in the world of Formula One," or something along those lines, right? And what I see is that Charles Leclerc is an exceptional driver, and Ferrari is sort of wasting away that talent, you know, in a very similar way to what we've seen with, you know, let's go back to Felipe Massa, Kimi Raikkonen, Fernando Alonso, Sebastian Vettel, now Lewis Hamilton. It's just not great, really, is it? That Ferrari have so much talent and yet seemingly cannot get anywhere near a championship. But, you know, Charles Leclerc, really good driver, got a lot of pace in him, and I'm sure he's also fantastic at developing the car, will put in extra amounts of effort that the other drivers aren't willing to do. But which team does he go to then? Which team does he go to? Because McLaren aren't signing drivers, Mercedes aren't signing drivers, Red Bull, is Charles Leclerc even going to try and challenge Max Verstappen? I mean, I'd love to see it, but I think that's highly unlikely. So then, where does he even go? Okay. Also, folks, be sure to hit the like button, be sure to subscribe. We're getting pretty close to 199k subs, and qualifying is getting underway very, very shortly. I cannot wait for this to start, because this is going to be absolutely mega. Max is in the car, all of the drivers really in the car now, they're looking at the telemetry. Also, another thing that I'd like to point out, that all of the drivers here, because they're at Singapore, they're drinking like electrolytes all the time. Like, I don't think that the drivers at any point will really just be drinking normal water. The majority of the time, the drivers are drinking liters and liters of electrolytes in their water. And that the main thing is, it's sort of to stay absolutely hydrated. So if you say, you know how there's a very common fact that is thrown around that over the course of the Singapore Grand Prix, the drivers will lose 4 to 5 kilograms of body weight via just sweating. Now, if that was to happen to an ordinary person, like we humans are, what, 60-70% water or something along those lines, we would be feeling like terribly, terribly dehydrated if we lost 4 or 5 kilograms worth of water. But the drivers sort of counteract that by filling up their body with, you know, an extra 1, 2, 3 liters of water. So the best way to sort of describe it is, I'm sure many people are familiar with, you know, sort of wrestling and how you have weight categories, and the wrestlers have to stay within their weight category, and what they do is they get super dehydrated so they can just fit under, you know, whatever the 80 kilogram limit is, or whatever it is. The F1 drivers do the exact opposite of that. So the wrestlers go super dehydrated. The F1 drivers do the exact opposite of that, and they actually gain 1 or 2 kilograms worth of just pure water weight during the build-up to the Grand Prix, during the build-up to the weekend. So they're always an extra 2 kilograms heavier because they've got so much water within their body, and then they sweat that water out during qualifying sessions, during races, and it's quite fascinating, actually, the lengths that the teams would go to, and the amount of physical exhaustion that is sort of present in the world of Formula One, especially at such humid circuits. You can see it's 68% humidity here in Singapore. Track temperatures 35 degrees, air temperatures 30 degrees. It is quite the wild event, to be honest. Okay, So here we are then. We have got Franco Colapinto out first, then we've got Pierre Gasly, then Hulkenberg, then Stroll, then Albon. Everyone's queuing up at the end of the pit lane. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome along to round number 18 of the Formula One season. We have got qualifying underway here in Singapore. 18 minutes of Q1, 15 minutes of Q2, 12 minutes of Q3 ahead of us. Probably a few red flags as well, considering we've got Colapinto, Stroll and Liam Lawson out on the track. But let's wait and see what will happen. They're all coming out on soft tyres. Nobody's going to be using mediums today. The soft tyres are perfect for these sort of conditions. And the floodlights are on. And the circuit of Singapore is open to Formula One. All right. Here we go then. We have got the Ferraris coming out early as well. That's a bit of a surprise. I wouldn't have expected the Ferraris to come out, but I guess they're a little bit concerned about, messing up or just not having the best quali session. Another thing around here in Singapore, it takes around about a minute 30 for a lap. A minute 30 for a flying lap, around about a minute 50 or so for a cool down lap. So what we will be seeing is probably 3 runs in Q1, 2 runs in Q2, and 2 runs in Q3. Probably be getting some banker laps in as well. Yeah, my guy needs to bounce back. So yeah, Oscar Piastri does need to bounce back, and we'll see how it plays out. Folks, just a quick reminder for the World Championship, we have got Oscar Piastri in the lead with 324 points, Lando Norris in second place with 299. He is 25 points behind his teammate, and there are 7 races left to go. Max Verstappen is 69 points back from Oscar Piastri, which is very nice indeed, but 69 points in 7 races, that's nearly 10 points per race weekend that he's going to have to gain on Oscar Piastri to win the championship, which is going to be a very, very tough challenge. All right. Here we go then, folks. Here we go. Let me know who you think is going to be getting pole position. Let me know who you think is going to be getting knocked out. I'm going to be guessing that one of the Haas cars, one of the Saubers, Lance Stroll and Liam Lawson is getting eliminated. I think I'm missing one more driver, and I'm going to go with maybe another one of the Haas cars, I think, getting eliminated out of Q1. But everyone's coming out on fresh set of softs. It looks like everyone's got enough tyres for qualifying today. Nobody's using any used sets. And the quickest top speeds that we've seen so far, Lewis Hamilton, 302 kilometers per hour through the speed traps from Lewis as he starts his flying lap. All right, Colapinto, first driver across the line, though, 132.0 from Franco Colapinto. And also, Lewis Hamilton, I think did he abort his lap or not? I think he might have aborted his lap because he exceeded track limits at turn 1. Not the best start to qualifying for Lewis Hamilton. Gasly across the line, 5 seconds off the pace. He's clearly doing a banker lap. Hulkenberg is up in first position. He goes 4/10 clear of Franco Colapinto. Very, very nicely done there from the Hulk. Stroll up into first position. Very, very nicely done from Stroll. 2/10 clear of Nico Hulkenberg. But the lap times are a 1:31.5. That is nearly 2 seconds off the pace compared to last year, folks. 2 full seconds off the pace. Then we go Albon, 40 milliseconds up from him. Carlos Sainz also on a flying lap. Here he is coming out of the final corner. Yellow flag. Oh, no, no, no. What's that? Sainz, though, across the line. Half a second clear of his teammate. Very nicely done. Don't know what the yellows are for because Albon and Piastri are A-OK, so that doesn't matter. But we continue on, and that was our first yellow flag scare. We'll see how many more yellow flag scares we have till the end of qualifying. Oscar Piastri quickest through the speed traps, 304 kilometers per hour. Maybe he is going for the qualifying style setup and try to do a Hail Mary to get pole position. Charles Leclerc, top of the times, only a 10th faster than Carlos Sainz's former teammate, and not looking all that amazing for the Ferrari team. Gabriel Bortoleto splits the two Williams, but there's a pretty big gap between them, half a second to be exact. Isaac Hadjar goes ahead of Charles Leclerc, and it's just going from bad to worse for the Ferrari team, and we're back with the Ferrari cycle. I don't know where it is. There we go. It's so over, at least right now. We'll see what happens a little bit later on. Lando Norris, though, purple first sector, purple second sector. Oscar Piastri, He was going quickest through the speed traps, but made a mistake on his flying lap, so he ended up out of the... He aborted his lap pretty much straight away, so not ideal there for Oscar. He's going to have to go again. I don't know if he'll have enough fuel to go again, to be honest, which might be a bit of a problem. Lando Norris, though, across the line, that is quarter of a second up on Isaac Hadjar, a 1:30.5. He's still a second slower than his own pole time from last year, but Max Verstappen might be going to break that one. He goes purple in the middle sector by 2 milliseconds. Look at this gap here, folks. 2 milliseconds between Verstappen and Norris through the middle sector, and Verstappen now just coming through 18 and 19, flicks the car to the left. It sticks like it's on a rails, and he goes up into first position by a quarter of a second. Very nice start to qualifying from the Flying Dutchman. Here comes Yuki Tsunoda, his teammate. He's 1.4 seconds back. A lot of work to do for him. Stroll starts his second flying lap. We have also got Piastri into the pits. Looks like he didn't have enough fuel there, folks. So Piastri only had enough fuel for one lap. He's had to come into the pits, and he's going to have to go again later on in the session. Hamilton is on a flying lap right now, so Hamilton did have enough fuel to do a extra run, I think. And here he is now, out of the final corner. His teammate is up in fourth. Hamilton up into second. He goes ahead of Lando Norris, and maybe he's in for a shot of pole position here. Hamilton looking good on his first flying lap. He also had one lap older tyres as well, because he did abort his first lap after making a mistake. So you have to take, if you take that into account, it's a pretty good performance to start out the session from Lewis. Mr. Saturday starts his quali lap now, just going ahead of Charles Leclerc in towards turn number 1. And we've got the replay here from Oscar Piastri, and you can see he's going in towards turn number 1, and what happens is... Oh, he gets called for yellow flags. Oh, Oscar Piastri doesn't make a mistake, folks. I'd just like to... Sorry, I'd like to clarify that Oscar Piastri didn't make a mistake on his first flying lap. It was because, you remember the first yellow flag scare that I just talked about moments ago. That's why he had to slow down. Alex Albon, for whatever reason, the marshals declared a yellow flag because Albon was driving slowly in towards turn number 1, and they were like, oh, Albon's got an issue, let's deploy yellow flags. But it was a misunderstanding. Albon was driving slowly so Piastri could get past him. And yeah, they brought out the yellow flags, Piastri to slow down, and that is why Piastri has yet to set a lap. So, bit unfortunate there for Oscar, and I think the marshals shouldn't make that mistake again. Oliver Behrman, what a lap from him, purple in the final sector, and just incredible commitment from him in all parts of the lap. A 10th clear of Lewis Hamilton and a 10th back from Max Verstappen. His teammate Esteban Ocon is 0.8 of a second back. 0.8 of a second. Behrman has never driven at this circuit before, and still somehow he's 0.8 clear of his teammate. Wow. All right, here comes Mr. Saturday. Then he's coming out the final corner. The car is looking very good. Third position it is for George Russell. Look at that. Top 5, top 6 cars are from all different teams. This is incredible. The gaps are a little bit bigger than we saw in FP3, or about a quarter of a second rather than 1/10 of a second, but regardless, it's only going to get closer from here. Okay, we've got 20,000 people tuning in. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. Welcome along to the F1 Gamer coverage, and hope you enjoy. Okay, so what else have we got going on then? Oscar Piastri has now made his way out the pits. He's done it again on a fresh set of tyres, actually. So McLaren not taking any risks whatsoever. Piastri is coming out on a fresh set to make it through in towards Q2. Antonelli also yet to complete a proper lap. He had to abort. Fernando Alonso's on a flying lap here. The Astons are typically good at high downforce tracks, but yeah, in FP3 their pace sort of evaporated into nowhere, and we'll see if that happens again. But Alonso coming towards turn number 16 here, shifts the brake balance forwards. Well, he should be shifting the brake balance forwards, because otherwise rear locking is quite easy to happen. Makes it through 16 and 17 very nicely, and just the final 2 corners left there for Alonso. Hamilton is pushing like crazy, oh my god, and he's millimeters away from the barriers. Alonso's up into 5th, fantastic to see. Top 7 positions now are from all different teams. Can this get any better, folks? Can this get any better? Lewis Hamilton is, oh my god, this is looking brilliant. His middle sector is yellow, which is ideal, but Here he is coming through the final few corners now. Will he be able to hold it together? Will the Charles Leclerc purple in the middle sector? Looks like the Ferraris have finally found their pace. The prancing horses once again prancing. And second place for Lewis Hamilton, 2 milliseconds back from Charles Leclerc. And it's also a used set of tyres. Incredible. Alex Albon is up there in 7th position. Now the top 8 cars are from all different teams. Qualifying today is incredible. Charles Leclerc up into 3rd. We're back. The meme's back, folks. Ferrari 2-3. We are so back, ladies and gentlemen. And Carlos Sainz up into 7th position there. Wow, what a qualifying session. Isaac Hadjar goes up on top pole. Well, it's not pole position, but he's up in 1st position by a 10th of a second. Incredible. His teammate Liam Lawson starts a flying lap, and we have also got Oscar Piastri on a flying lap as well. He's looking pretty good, is Oscar Piastri, and staying away from the walls very, very well. Straight line braking for turn number 13. Executes that perfectly all the way to the barriers on the right-hand side. That is fantastic. We are so back, folks. Formula One's back. This qualifying session cannot get any better. Please don't bring out the red flag. Oscar Piastri, 6/10 up on Ocon's time. That should put him about where Lando Norris is, to be honest. Let's see what he can do in the final sector. He's got 3 more corners to negotiate, and here he comes then. Oscar Piastri, can he bounce back from his bad weekend in Baku? He can. 6th position though. He's only 2/10 back, but 2/10 has lost him 6th positions, which is wild. Lando Norris, fresh set of soft tyres, purple in the 1st sector, 3/10 quicker than his teammate in the 1st sector. So Lando Norris is not giving up this fight so easily. And Isaac Hadjar is at risk of getting demoted to the Red Bull team because he's just performing too quickly, really. We'll see what Liam Lawson can do. He's currently on a flying lap here. And Yuki Tsunoda as well. He's down in 19th. Isaac Hadjar up in 1st. What's going on there? Kimi Antonelli and Carlos Sainz, no further investigation for impeding. All right, Lando Norris now coming towards the middle sector line. What's it going to be? Is it another purple sector? Yes, it is, by a 10th of a second again. So Lando Norris is a man on a mission, 3/10 up overall on this current flying lap compared to Isaac Hadjar. Liam Lawson comes across the line. It's only 10th for him. He's half a second back from his teammate. But yeah, that gap between Norris and Hadjar, it was 3/10 before. And let's see what happens now then. Across the line, and it is 3/10 again. What a lap there from Lando Norris. And Oscar Piastri has got a lot of work to do. A lot of work indeed. Here we go then. Yeah. So that's been the first runs of Q1, folks. First runs of Q1. Kimi Antonelli is the only driver yet to go. And yeah, so the drivers in the drop zone are Hülkenberg, Ocon, Gasly, Tsunoda, and Antonelli. But Antonelli should complete his flying lap soon, and we'll see how that works out for him. Okie dokes then. 25,000 people tune into live stream. Thanks everyone for tuning in. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. Hopefully we can get towards 199k subs. I think we might even hit 200k today by the way things are going. But very much is appreciated, folks. Be sure to hit the like button. Be sure to subscribe. And yeah, if we do hit 200k and also hit 10k likes on the live stream, I will be doing a face reveal. Here comes Antonelli then. Through the middle sector, looking extremely racy indeed. Purple through the 1st sector. He goes a full 10th up on Lando Norris. Mr. Saturday. Doesn't matter about him. Kimi Antonelli is here to deliver. And now coming through the middle sector, he comes across the middle sector line. He's purple again. Kimi Antonelli. Oh my god. He's a full second up on Bortoletto, and that puts him right on par with Lando Norris now. Can he hold it together in the final sector? Is he going to suffer from overheating? Let's wait and see. The car is sparking away in Singapore through 16 and 17. That line is perfect from Antonelli. Millimeters away from the wall through the final corner. Across the line, he's a 10th back. He loses it all in the final sector. Just a little bit too much wheel spin. But the Mercedes are looking good. The Mercedes are cooking. And so are the McLarens. And so is Racing Bulls. I don't know what's going on anymore. Anyone could get pole position. The rookies are having a lot of fun here, actually. Yeah, Behrman out qualifying his teammate, Antonelli doing it as well, Hadjar doing it as well, Bortoleto also quicker than Hulkenberg, and Colapinto quicker than Gasly. Wait, as of this current moment, every rookie has out-qualified their teammate. Quite exciting, especially at a circuit that they've never driven before. Formula 2 doesn't race here, Formula 3 doesn't race here. These rookies, this is their first time at the Singapore Grand Prix track, and still, they're out-qualifying their experienced teammates. How is this going on? Absolutely no clue. All right, 2 minutes, 20 seconds left on the clock, and the drivers in the drop zone making their way out onto the circuit very, very quickly. And yeah, Tsunoda's got to get a move on. He's 1.8 seconds back, half a second slower than the Alpines. Half a second slower than the Alpines is wild, considering he's in the Red Bull. I mean, I know that it's not a very drivable car, but like, come on. Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him up there. Probably fighting up there with maybe Leclerc, maybe Russell. We'll see how it goes, though. Hamilton on a pretty good lap so far, and he is third fastest in the first sector. In the middle sector, looking pretty good as well. Here he is, coming across the middle sector line. Opens that DRS flap, that Ferrari looking extremely racy indeed. I've got to say, the Ferrari livery is very, very good. I mean, pretty much most of the time, it always is. Hamilton second fastest in the second sector, and yeah, he's also doing this on a fresh set of tyres, so that's something to watch out for here. Everyone is out on a fresh set of tyres apart from Max Verstappen, so if Verstappen's lap time is a little bit off, that's the reason why. All right, then here comes Hamilton through the final two corners. Can he put a lap together? And oh my God, a 10th clear. What a final sector from Lewis Hamilton. He played it a little bit safe in sector 1 and 2, had so much tyre life left in sector 3. He goes a 10th and a half up on Lando Norris. This is incredible. George Russell is quickest through the speed traps. That is good news, folks. Good news. George Russell is going for the Hail Mary approach. Go for an entire qualifying setup and then just hope that you get pole position and clean air for the race. That's George Russell's strategy. It might just work out for him. Max Verstappen across the line, third place for him. He was on a used set of tyres though, so take that into account when you look at the lap times. Piastri across the line, 6th position for him. That is also a used set for him. Antonelli, Hadjar's also out on a used set, so but 6th position sufficient to make it through into Q2, and that's all you really need as of this current moment. Quite a lot of traffic out here on the circuit, actually. It's quite a short circuit here in Singapore, and of course... Oh, yellow! What's that for? Where's the yellow flag? Pierre Gasly, turn number 11. There's a barrier right there on the exit of turn number 11. If you touch the inside curb, you're off into the barriers. There's a yellow flag as of right now. 4 seconds remaining on the clock. If the red flag is deployed, you know what happens. The session is over, and nobody else gets to complete their qualifying laps. Checkered flags waving, still got yellow flags. Nobody's going to be able to improve at this rate. Yuki Tsunoda might be eliminated by default because of this yellow flag. Gasly is still stopped there at the side of the circuit. I don't know what's going on there with Pierre Gasly. Yeah, okay. Well, we continue on. Russell up into second position. Great lap there by George. And here comes Yuki Tsunoda in 20th position. Hasn't been impeded by the yellows. Up into 10th place. Great job there. And... it looks like everyone's lap just got aborted, I think. I don't know. I can't really tell. But, oh my goodness me. Yeah. All right. So I think that's the end. Yeah, everyone's just coming into the pits because they can't drive quickly through the yellow flag. So unfortunate there for Colapinto, Bortoleto, Hulkenberg. And oh, Hulkenberg does improve though. 13th position for Hulkenberg. Apologies there. I must have missed that one. But Hulkenberg across the line, 13th place for him. Bortoleto as well up into 16th position. Unfortunately, not enough to get out of Q1. And then we have got... I think that's it then. Yeah, that's the end of qualifying, folks. So that is Q1 over. What an interesting session. Also, I don't know what they're doing with Gasly's car. Gasly's parked down the escape road, and they've still got the yellow flag called. So I don't know if drivers are going to get penalised for driving quickly through the yellow flags or something. But that's an interesting situation to say the least. He had engine problems. Gasly didn't crash. I think it was engine problems for Gasly. Stuck in 4th gear, and yeah. Eliminated out of qualifying. So Bortoleto out, Stroll out, Colapinto out, Ocon out, and Pierre Gasly is out. Okie dokes then. What a great session we've had. Lewis Hamilton up in P1. Absolutely fantastic. Be great to see him carry on do that. Maybe if you could put together a lap like he did in 2018 in Singapore, if you can hook together a perfect lap, that would be mega. But you know, we'll see how it goes. Charles Leclerc is 6/10 off the back of it. We have not seen a gap that big all season long between those two drivers. And if we have seen a gap that big, it's always been in Charles Leclerc's favour as well. The top three are all British drivers as well. That's interesting. Didn't notice that one. Okay. How did Hulkenberg improve? Yeah, that is what I'm confused about. I don't know how Hulkenberg improved. Also, I think the start of Q2 might be ever so slightly delayed because of this yellow flag, but I'm still going to put a timer up because I am reasonably certain that it will start in about 5 minutes. Let me just put up Q2. Q2 starts in, there we go. Oh, not Q2i, Q2. Brilliant. Yeah, if you could get pole position for Roscoe, that would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Hamilton is back, maybe he is back. It shouldn't really be a delay, but with the way that the FIA have been acting in the past couple of race weekends, there might be a delay, so. F1 Gamer, what do you think about the new cooling vest that the drivers are wearing? Is it really going to help the drivers in your opinion? Well, you know, Max Verstappen has come out and said it's really not that helpful. You know, it works for about the first 20 minutes and then after that it's uncomfortable and it doesn't really help. So I think in the first sort of version that they've made, it might not be the most helpful thing in the world. But, you know, if the FIA go and improve and spend some of the money that they get from all of these fines and stuff, if they spend some of that money on improving the cooling vest for all of the drivers, then I think it's a good idea. You know, in a very similar way, you know, some of the drivers saying, oh, we don't need it, it'll be fine. It's a very similar sort of adoption method to the Halo. You know, the drivers were initially opposed to it, but now every single driver will not drive a car without a Halo. So it's very sort of similar in that way and in that regard. Yeah, we have just got the message from Race Control. Start of Q2 will be delayed, so I think it's going to be delayed to this time, but don't quote me on that. Right, guys, we're only 1,000 subs away from a face reveal. Well, we are 1,000 subs, but also we have to hit 10,000 likes. You know, it says there on the screen. So, but yes, thank you very much, Banana Goat, for the $10 donation. Very much is appreciated. And yeah, thank you everyone for tuning in. And you know, maybe we will hit 200k. Who knows? But I shall turn on slow mode because we've got too many. We've got too many chat messages coming through, to be honest. There's loads of chat messages coming through and it's a little bit too quick. Hulkenberg got a toe from Max. Interesting, okay. Interesting. Maybe that's what helped him out, but we'll see. But none of the drivers have been noted for driving quickly under yellow flag conditions. So what I have a potential theory here. Sometimes the data here isn't 100% accurate. So the way that it works is that, you know, we could have the yellow flag signal up on our screen, but the marshals on the track may stop waving the yellow flag. So in that scenario, you know, Hulkenberg may have seen, you know, Pierre Gasly may have been off the circuit and then the marshal stopped waving the yellow flag, so Hulkenberg was free to go quickly. Something like that may have happened, or maybe Hulkenberg was just after, was coming through the track before Gasly was, but I'm not 100% certain. Pole should be faster compared to last year. Yes, it should be, but it also depends on track conditions and stuff like that. If the track is hotter, then it's much less likely that we're going to be beating last year's pole time. But if we do look at the theoretical best lap time, so if Hamilton hooked up his theoretical best in all three sectors, it would be a 1:29.7, which is only 0.2 slower than last year's pole time. So looking pretty good there for Lewis Hamilton. Okay. Do another lap. I'll take you through another lap of the circuit. In fact, while we're waiting for the session to restart, I'll take you through another lap of the circuit. So, this is the Singapore Grand Prix track. It's called the Marina Bay Street Circuit because, you know, they're in the Marina Bay, part of Singapore, and Yeah, this first corner here, yeah, the main thing here is actually the final corner helps the drivers a lot because it warms up their tyres. You know, a very high-speed corner just before you start your flying lap warms those front tyres right up, and is ideal for going in towards turn number 1 and not locking your brakes. Then brake all the way on the right hand side here, gains you a lot of lap time, and you can take a much wider entry into the corner, clip the curb, then all over the second curb, brake in a straight line for turn number 3, then late apex, carry as much speed as you can towards the next corner, and the next corner again, very much a late apex, very slow in and fast out. That's the approach you got to take because it really tightens up. You got to get your line perfect. Now through this part of the circuit, you just minimize the tiniest possible steering input that you can get to turn the car and scrub off as little speed as possible. Then through this corner, do not go all over that curb because it throws you off. It can cause oversteer, it can cause crashes. So yeah, all manner of things can happen and you don't want to be doing that. Just ask Liam Lawson. Then you continue on towards turn number 8 where it's just a 90-degree right hand corner. Don't miss the Actually, yeah, do miss the curb because it will throw you off. Same thing for this corner. It's so easy to unsettle the car ever so slightly. And a lot of the surface is, of course, not as smooth as a purpose-built racetrack. This, of course, is a street after all. It's not a purpose-built thing. So there are all little bumps here and there that the drivers have to be wary of, especially through this section. So the drivers never 100% go on the brakes. They never 100% go on the throttle. They're always sort of easing it through this part of the lap because they know that the surface is not as smooth and as reliable as a normal racetrack. Then you continue on towards turn number 14. Again, just run it as wide as you possibly can. Again, open DRS to help with overtaking, staying close to the driver ahead of you. And then you've just got turn number 16 and 17 left, which is pretty good. All right, Q2, is it starting or is it getting delayed even further? I mean, I would like to hope that it doesn't get delayed any further, but it is the FIA after all, so I think it is, folks. I do apologize for just changing this timer up, but yeah, the race control, like QUALI should have started by now, but because Gasly's car is well off the circuit, so I still don't know why there's the yellow flag there and why we haven't gone racing, but here we go. Why is it dark from 16th to 20th? It's because those drivers have been eliminated. In each stage of qualifying, the bottom 5 drivers get eliminated. So in Q1, from 16th to 20th, they get eliminated. Then in Q2, we've got a race control start time. So QUALI is officially starting, folks. This is from race control in 3 minutes and 10 seconds. And then, yeah, of course, in Q2, the rest of the drivers will get eliminated. Hamilton just made my heart beat again. Well, you know, let's see what Hamilton can do because it looks like this qualifying might be a special one from him. He's got a special helmet as well. It's all like super bright, shiny gold. And honestly, I love the sort of reflective helmets that you get in Singapore because they sparkle so much under the lights as well. If McLaren could bring back a chrome livery for the Singapore Grand Prix, that would be mega. Why is there a delay? There's a delay because Pierre Gasly's car was at the side of the racetrack when Q1 finished. So they had to move it away from the side of the racetrack before Q2 started. Did Hamilton get a penalty? No, Hamilton did not get a penalty for his red flag infringement during FP3. The steward said he was only going ever so slightly quicker than the cars around him, so they let him off and no penalty for Lewis Hamilton. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. I'll be back in just a second. Okay. What is the data beside the sector times? So this is the mini sector data. So essentially, each of these sectors are split into even smaller little sections of racetrack. And the colors that you see from these little rectangular bars indicate what goes on. If the drivers are purple in this little final little section of the track, or if they're purple through this little corner, or if they're yellow through this corner. So that's essentially, it just narrows down the sectors into even smaller bits. And sometimes you can see if they're purple at the start of sector 1, that means they got a really nice toe down the start finish straight. If they're purple through these final few corners, that means if they're purple through this final few mini sectors here, that means their tires weren't overheating throughout the lap, so they could push really hard at the end. So there's little bits of information that you can gather from the mini sector data. And also, if you just see like a full rectangle of purple, that means this driver is absolutely flying, and they're about to probably break the lap record. So yeah. Oh, okay, folks. We've just got the message here from Race Control that Bortoletto, Hulkenberg, Tsunoda, and Russell will be investigated after the end of the session for a yellow flag infringement. So, folks, that is the yellow flag that was caused by Pierre Gasly. These drivers must have driven quickly through it. I mean, Hulkenberg surely must have driven quickly through it because he improved enough to get through into Q2. So, Hulkenberg, Bortoletto, Tsunoda, and Russell will be investigated. They could be getting a penalty. It really depends now. Like, we don't know for certain, but yeah, I also don't know why Russell would have why he sped, because there's no reason for him. He was already going to make it through into Q2, so like, you just abort your lap, don't risk getting a 5-place grid penalty. I can understand why Hulkenberg did it. If he didn't do it, then he would have got eliminated, so at least that's reasonable. Same thing for Tsunoda, but I don't know why Russell would have been speeding. Anyway, we'll check what will happen. They're going to announce it afterwards. But folks, the timer is ticking down, as you can see there, and qualifying will be getting underway very, very shortly. Okay. Oh, they've delayed it again. What? Why are they've delayed it by an extra minute? The FIA, honestly. Okay, well, I'll just stick the timer up again for... They've delayed it by a few extra... They've delayed it by 16 seconds. Fantastic. We're getting pretty close to 200k, folks. I mean, as I said, folks, it does say 200k subs and also 10k likes. So, if we don't hit 200k, if we don't hit 10k likes today, we'll hit 10k likes tomorrow, and I'll do a face reveal. But yeah. All right, here we go then. Green light, pit lane exit is open, and we are actually getting underway now for qualifying. Good news, good to see. Max Verstappen, first driver out. Interesting, I would not have expected Max to be the first driver out, but he is. Then we've got Behrman behind him, then we've got Isaac Hadjar, and then we have got Alexander Albon coming through. Why was there a delay? Ask the FIA. Ask the FIA, yeah. So here we go then. All right, Max Verstappen starts flying. Well, is out on a fresh set of tyres as well. That's another thing I'd like to point out. Fresh tyres for Max. Looks like fresh tyres for the majority of the drivers that are coming out the pit lane, actually. So the first runs are going to be done on fresh tyres. Good to see, good to see. Oh, is that someone going slowly? Is that... Oh, no, Carlos Sainz is just driving slowly on purpose to cool down his tyres. Okie dokes. Yeah, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. What's the theoretical best lap time for Max? Okay, Max's theoretical best lap time is a 1:30.0. Lewis Hamilton's, who has got the quickest theoretical best lap time, is a 1:29.7. So Hamilton's theoretical best about a quarter of a second up on Max Verstappen's theoretical best. But of course, we'll see what happens by the end of the qualifying session. This has only been Q1 for the theoretical best lap times. Yeah, folks, remember to stay hydrated. The drivers constantly drinking electrolytes to stay hydrated in Singapore. You should also remember to stay hydrated. What does the blue mean in the mini sectors? They are driving in and out the pit lane. So you can see here, Hamilton is pit out, so he's got all of these mini blue sectors just indicating that he's driving in the pits. And if someone's coming into the pit lane, you'll also see blue towards the end of sector number 3. Yeah. Okay. Looking good, looking good. Well, with Cadillac joining QUALI, with Cadillac joining the grid, how will QUALI work? I think it's either going to be 6 cars get eliminated, so we still remain with a top 10 shootout, or it'll just be 5 cars get eliminated, and in Q3 we'll have 12 cars. But I think it would make sense to have 6 cars get eliminated each time, rather than having 5 cars and then the final QUALI session still have 12 drivers. I think it's much nicer to have a top 10 shootout. Yeah. Right. If Lewis doesn't get a penalty for speeding under red and Yuki gets a penalty for speeding under yellow, I'm going to riot. Yeah, honestly. Well, we'll see how it goes and what the FIA's reasoning is, but it's interesting reasoning, to be honest, and they're just never consistent. That's the problem. If they were consistent, it would be fine, but consistency is clearly not the FIA's middle name. Verstappen is flying. I mean, of course, he's the first driver out on track, so it helps that he's flying. But his theoretical best lap time, I think, has just beaten Lewis Hamilton's theoretical best. It has. He goes quicker than Hamilton's theoretical best lap time. All 3 sectors purple for Max Verstappen. Incredible lap. Yeah. All right. The VPN doesn't work anymore for Service TV. Folks, if you do want to watch Formula 1, what you can do is you can join a Swiss VPN server, search SRF F1, and then watch it via that. Use the link in the description for Surfshock VPN. Helps out the channel, and I'm watching it via that method as well. Thank you, Exoteric, for the donation. 800 subs to go. Yeah, 800 subs to go, and, well, about 6,000 likes to go as well. But we've got 28,000 people watching. I'm sure we could get 10,000 likes. Okay. So we have got first couple of laps coming in then. Isaac Hadjar is in second position, about 4/10 back. Sainz is about 1/10 back from him. Gap between Sainz and Albon quite big. I think Sainz maybe have just got a huge confidence boost after his podium, and he's now, well, quite comfortably ahead of Alex Albon. Purple first sector for George Russell. Mr. Saturday is back. It was Kimi Antonelli in Q1. It looks like it's going to be George Russell in Q2. He's purple in the first sector, and he's also on used tyres. Oh my goodness me. Okay, Sonoda 6/10 back from Verstappen. That's a good improvement from the 1.8 seconds before. Lawson up into 6th position. He's still ahead of Sonoda, which is not where he wants to be. Lawson wants to be ahead of Sonoda. Sonoda doesn't want to be behind Lawson. Then, what else have we got going on? Norris on a quick lap, so is Antonelli, so is Leclerc. Leclerc's first sector, though, not ideal. Maybe his second sector would be a little bit better, but it looks like an awful lot of yellow there for Charles Leclerc. Maybe he's backed out of his lap. All right. George Russell then through the middle sector, 38.0. Unfortunately, loses nearly 3/4 tenths through the middle sector. Kimi Antonelli finds 4 tenths in the middle sector. What a middle sector from Antonelli. He's got the previous fastest first sector. He's now got the fastest second sector. 1 sector left to go for Antonelli. Here comes George Russell across the line. Only 4th position. 4/10 of a second back, quite a long ways to go there for George Russell. And we have got Kimi Antonelli, second position, a 10th back from Max Verstappen. Simply sensational. And Lando Norris is in 3rd position. He's behind Max Verstappen. He's behind Kimi Antonelli. And Oscar Piastri's purple in the middle sector. Who's going to go quicker? Is it going to be Piastri? Is it going to be Norris? Or is someone else going to come in and spoil the fun? Hamilton's first sector is looking pretty good. Antonelli with a lap time deleted, ladies and gentlemen. Lap time deleted for exceeding track limits at turn number 2. He was up in second position, but he's got a lap time deleted for exceeding track limits at turn number 2. Piastri takes the number 2 spot away from him, and he is 2 tenths clear of his teammate. Great lap from Piastri, and it looks like the bounce back is in full swing. Here comes Lewis Hamilton, though, through the first sector, looking pretty good. Middle sector as well, looking very nice indeed, but it's not the blisteringly quick sectors that we need to be getting pole position, is it? Well, his final sector on the previous lap was pretty good. Can he replicate his success? Will his tyres be able to hold up in the Singapore heat? 35 degrees is the track temperature. His tyre temperature is probably 110 degrees right now. They are screaming under the load of that Ferrari. He's got 2 corners left to go. The car sparks away, and across the line, only 3rd position there for Lewis Hamilton. Ooh, it's getting it's very, very close indeed, isn't it? 2, 3, but top 3 at 3 different teams as well. Great to see. Was Russell's lap time deleted? Where actually is Russell? Russell's in 7th. No, Russell didn't get a lap time deleted. He just wasn't really quick enough. Yeah, this is the thing about Singapore. There are 19 corners here. It's quite a short lap, but 19 corners. Every single thing has to be absolutely perfect for you to actually get pole position here. Otherwise, well, someone else is going to do it because someone else is going to get everything perfect. So, yeah. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with Leclerc there. Oh, I'd like to point out here, Leclerc, he had to abort his previous lap, and so he probably didn't have an ideal tyre warm-up on his flying lap just then. So Charles Leclerc he pushed for about one full sector and then had to abort the lap because he made a mistake or something. So his tyres will not have been in the proper sort of condition to start another flying lap, I think. So don't quote me on that, but I think that's what happened to Charles Leclerc, and that's why he's down in 13th position. But also, just look how close the field is, man. We're from first position down to 14th. It's only 7/10 of a second. This is ridiculously close. Yeah, Kimi Antonelli unfortunately getting a lap time deleted for track limits. It looked like he was within track limits, but, you know, you check the sensors, you check the cameras, and he was millimeters off, millimeters. Very, very unfortunate, but, you know, that's the difference between greatness and defeat here at Singapore. Charles Leclerc, the driver that's closest to the wall, he was 0 centimeters away from the wall, was Charles Leclerc, so he was pushing. But yeah, if your tyres aren't in the correct state when you start your flying lap, no amount of pushing and no amount of good qualifying can get you a quick lap time. All right, here we go then, folks. Here we go. The first runs of Q2 have been completed. Antonelli is the first driver out to start his second runs. Of course, he got a lap time deleted, so he wants a bit of clean air, clean circuit, no risk of getting a yellow flag, sort of ruining his fun. Yeah, all right. So thank you everyone for tuning in. Hope you guys are enjoying the coverage. We've got 30,000 people watching the live stream, which is absolutely incredible. And by the looks of it, we are again the biggest live stream on YouTube. So I'd like to say a big thank you to everyone that's tuned in and listening to the coverage. Means a lot indeed. Okay, 5 minutes remain, and wow. Quali session's been pretty good so far. Can it get any better? Antonelli is out, so's Russell, then Tsunoda, then Verstappen. Then we've got the two Williams coming out behind them. Right, I'm gonna have a quick sip of water. Singapore without Seb Vettel, yeah, not ideal really. Seb Vettel, I think, has the most wins around here in Singapore. No, he's won 5 times. Yeah, Seb Vettel, what a driver. In fact, my wallpaper is actually Seb Vettel's last win at Singapore in 2019. But it doesn't really matter. I'm sure you have seen that picture already. But yeah, we'll see what happens in today's qualifying session. So, we've got Hadjar, Behrman, Lawson coming out, all of them driving super slowly out the pit lane, trying to cool their tyres down, getting them ready for a qualifying lap. And yeah, the wind is 6.5 kilometers per hour, not too much of a concern today. There was chances of thunderstorm tomorrow. Looks unlikely right now, but yeah, the wind is never really a concern. Oh my god, what a snap of oversteer from Kimi Antonelli, but he just keeps on going. Wow. I don't know how he managed to avoid the barrier with that one. But as I was saying, yeah, the wind, not too much of a concern around here in Singapore, unless there is a thunderstorm, or a downpour in... Oh yeah, please update the subscriber goal. Yeah, I'll put it up to 200k. Why not? Antonelli, let's have a look at his first sector though. Not amazing. It's yellow, actually slower than his personal best. But also Antonelli, I think, holds the fastest first sector, doesn't he? Wait, let me have a look. Yeah, Antonelli does hold the fastest first sector, so he's either going to be yellow or purple. There's no in between. And he's only, a 10th down in the first sector as well, so looking pretty good. Even with that huge snap of oversteer, now through the middle sector he goes. And George Russell, what a first sector from him. The Mercedes knows something that nobody else does. And I don't know how they're putting this one together. Thanks, Peter Schmidt, for the donation. Very much is appreciated there, buddy. And thanks for the 32,000 people that have tuned in. This this quali cannot get any better. George Russell, purple in the first sector, and Antonelli's now purple in the middle sector. Are the Mercedes going to steal pole position away from the McLarens or Verstappen? I don't know what's going on because their pace was terrible yesterday. They were 18th and 20th in FP2, and Kimi Antonelli is in first position by 1/10 of a second against Max Verstappen. Great lap there by the youngster. Can Mr. Saturday dethrone his teammate? Going through the middle sector, he looks pretty good. The final sector, he's just got to hold it together now. 4 corners remain, 16, 17. He doesn't make the mistake that he made in FP1, and yeah, now just a tap of the brakes, flick the car to the left, and hope it sticks. And it does stick. He's a 10th clear of his teammate. George Russell is in first position. Kimi Antonelli is in second place. What are we back in 2018? It's a Mercedes 1-2. Wow. Thanks for the donation, Toothless to Dragon. Lewis, it's time to lock in. It is time to lock in. He's out on his outlap on a fresh set of Pirelli rubber. Let's see what he can do. Max Verstappen improves, and he is 10 milliseconds off George Russell. Oh my goodness me. Max Verstappen and George Russell so close together. Imagine a front row between those two drivers. It's all going to kick off tomorrow. And we've still got the McLarens yet to set a lap. Alex Albon improves up into 9th. Not going to be enough maybe with the drivers below him. Charles Leclerc yet to improve. Tsunoda yet to improve. It might be a bit difficult to get into Q3 with that lap time there for him. Hulkenberg starts a flying lap. 1 minute 20 seconds remains here, folks. 1 minute and 20 seconds remains on the clock. Oscar Piastri starts his flying lap. Charles Leclerc is starting his one as well. And here we go, folks. Who's it going to be? Who ends up on top? Who's got the ultimate pace at the streets of Singapore? Hadjar up into 7th position. Good lap there. Behrman up into 8th place. Pretty solid from him. I mean, he's doing much better than his teammate. He's 11 positions ahead of Esteban Ocon right now. So pretty solid job there from Ollie Behrman. Liam Lawson across the line does not improve. Liam Lawson has been eliminated, ladies and gentlemen. Very, very unfortunate. 2 crashes so far in practice, and just not enough confidence and speed to make it through into Q3. Lando Norris improves, but not by enough. He's a 1/4 of a second off pole position as of right now, and he's in 4th place. Oh, no. How things have turned from bad to worse for the McLaren team. Piastri's on a flying lap, but he's backed out. Oh, no, he's not backed out of it. He's still continuing on. Final sector left to go for him. And Alonso improves up into 8th. Still not enough, though, to confirm that he makes it through into Q3. Hulkenberg's on a pretty good lap here, and Hulkenberg, in fact, Verstappen gives Hulkenberg a tow going in towards turn number 16. That's good to see between the two drivers. I think Hulkenberg gave Verstappen a tow a little bit earlier on. Either way, Hulkenberg across the line. 10th position might just be enough, but Charles Leclerc yet to come across the line, so let's see what he can do. All right, here comes Charles Leclerc then. He's in the Ferrari. It's 6th position for him. And he pushes Nico Hulkenberg out. And by the looks of it, that is the end of qualifying here, folks. Nobody else is on a flying lap. And Q2 has finished. We have got Nico Hulkenberg eliminated, Alex Albon, Carlos Sainz, Liam Lawson, and Yuki Tsunoda out of quali. Charles makes it through, and we've got both Ferraris, both McLarens, both Mercedes, 1 Red Bull, 1 Racing Bull, 1 Aston, and 1 Haas in the top 10. Wow. I'm very, very unfortunate there for Yuki Tsunoda. Hamilton in 7th, Charles Leclerc in 6th, and they're milliseconds away from each other. So this is the thing, folks. When you see two drivers milliseconds away from each other, it looks like they've extracted all of the performance that the car has to offer. You can see Leclerc and Hamilton right next to each other. Norris and Piastri also 4 milliseconds apart. It seems to be that the McLarens aren't the kings here at Singapore, and the Mercedes have just come out of nowhere to be top of the pack. So wow. Okay, all right, let's have a look at the theoretical best lap times here, folks. The theoretical best, if everyone hooks together the most perfect sectors that they possibly can, where will they end up? And I've got news for you folks. It's Kimi Antonelli that has the quickest theoretical best lap time. His lap time is a tenth quicker than Russell's theoretical best, 2/10 quicker than than Verstappen's theoretical best, and he's 3/10 clear of Norris and Piastri. So Kimi Antonelli, in theory, is the fastest man around Singapore. Now, he's still got to put that into practice. You know, everything works in theory until you have to put together a qualifying lap at Singapore without crashing. But Antonelli is looking good. I mean, George Russell has the advantage here because he will have access to Kimi Antonelli's telemetry data. He'll be able to see where is Antonelli braking, how is he braking he braking early, late, how does he add on to power early? So that's very nice there for George Russell. Verstappen, Norris, Piastri, you know, the Ferrari drivers, they're all just going to have to work off GPS data. They're going to have to sort of piece together, oh, is Antonelli taking a late apex at this corner? But yeah, they've got about 5 minutes now, 5 minutes till we get underway for Q3. And this qualifying session cannot get more exciting. Okay, I'm going to stick the timer up. Let's see. I think it's going to be 5 minutes. The FIA haven't confirmed it, but most of the time I'm correct. The yellow flag is probably just the marshals checking something on the track. They maybe saw a little piece of debris or something. It happens quite often at turn number 14. The drivers, you know, they sort of hit the exit wall, hit the exit barrier, and a little piece of carbon fiber from the floor or something flies off onto the circuit. So that's probably what the yellow flag's for. Both Williams knocked out. Yeah, I mean, that's the thing, that they're not really that good at the high-speed circuits. Also, folks, it's been confirmed the session is starting according to the timer, so I did guess correctly. And yes, 4 minutes and 14 seconds, and we're getting underway for the top 10 shootout. This is going to be absolutely mega. All right, then, here we go. 4 minutes remain, and yes, the Williams, they're good at the high-speed circuits. They're not really that good at the high downforce tracks, and yeah, that's why they're eliminated. Fernando Alonso managed to put a lap together in sort of the tight technical circuit of Singapore, and that's of course one of his specialities. So yeah, he managed to get the Aston Martin through. The Haas, of course, Behrman will be looking to score some points. You know, I'll quickly just bring up the Constructors' Championship here. It's so close between all three teams between Mercedes, Ferrari, and Red Bull. It could go either way. Any of these three teams could get second place in the Constructors' standings. We could have Haas maybe score a few more points and kick Sauber, then they could get up into 8th position. Quite a few things can still change now. We've got 7 races left to go, and you know, the points gap between Ferrari and Mercedes, what is 4 points? Points gap between Red Bull and Ferrari, it's 14 points. Yeah, really not that major, and we'll see what happens. Of course, Red Bull have only got one driver driving pretty much, so that's not ideal, but yeah, this could be an opportunity for Mercedes to sort of extend their lead out at the front, and build that gap up that's currently 4 points. All right, here we go then, folks. Yeah, I'm gonna have a quick sip of water because I'm getting pretty excited here and screaming quite loudly. Thankfully, none of my flatmates are at home, so it's not too much of a problem. Yeah, it's not really called Red Bull Racing, is it? It's more like Max Verstappen Racing. But yeah, sponsored by water. Indeed, I am. Everyone should be sponsored by water. All right. Still haven't found a water sponsor. No. Maybe the face reveal will help. Maybe the sponsors want to actually see me drinking water, so that might work. But there we go. Data has been reset for Q3. We are about to get underway. We've got drivers already lining up at the end of the pit lane, actually, to cool down their tyres. So let's see what happens. All right. Yeah. Also, looking at the theoretical best lap times, I mean, it's very, very close between the two McLarens, but Piastri is 10 milliseconds quicker than Norris in the theoretical best times. And we've also got Verstappen, we've got Russell is actually 20 milliseconds better than Verstappen in the theoretical best as well. But these are all such fine margins. Like, generally, these margins are so small that if, you know, Oscar Piastri went to the toilet before a qualifying session, he would probably be quicker in the theoretical best lap times. Like, it's so small, these gaps. So it's anyone's pole position, really. This is pretty exciting. I'd say probably a five-way fight for pole position. I'd say the McLarens always have an extra little bit of pace left in the tank for Q3, and they've done it so many times before where they look all right, but maybe not getting pole position for 100%, and then they go out and score a 1-2. So yeah, I think a five-way fight for pole position is going to be mega. Alrighty then, 40 seconds left on the clock. All right, QUALI is about to get underway. Yeah, folks. I mean, I have my webcam plugged in. I have my lighting set up ready, and I haven't actually tidied my room. So I didn't think that we would hit 200k during the QUALI stream. So I didn't actually tidy my room up. But I don't think we're going to hit 10,000 likes, but you know, I'd be happy to be proven wrong, and I don't mind doing a face reveal right now, but we've got to hit 10k likes. That's the goal. So all right. And just one final quick sponsor message before I go into full commentary mode for the final 12 minutes of QUALI. If you do want to watch the Formula 1 coverage and don't want to pay, $30 for Sky Sports or ESPN or whatever it is, you can get Surfshark VPN for $2 a month. Then you join a Swiss VPN server like the one in Zurich, and then you go onto Google, search SRF Formula 1, and you can watch it for there. I'm watching it via that method right now, and it does work. The commentary is in German, so of course if you don't understand German, you mute the coverage, you listen to me instead. But SRF is free. The only thing you need to pay for is Surfshark VPN, and there's a link in the description. It goes a long way to helping out the channel. Yeah. Okie dokes. So here we go then. Q3 is underway. We have got 1 minute and 11 seconds left on the clock. We've got some drivers coming out on used tyres here. You can see Fernando Alonso out on a used set of soft tyres. Oliver Behrman also out on a used set of softs. Isaac Hadjar is also, maybe Isaac Hadjar's coming out on a used set of softs. Currently it's question mark tyre, but yeah, it's going to be pretty exciting. Are you going to do all your lives with a face scene from now on? I don't know. I'm still yet to decide, really. I think I might do it so, before the race starts, I'll have my face on, and then I'll turn it off so you guys can see all the data. But I guess I'll decide later, really. Yeah. Anyway, that doesn't matter. We are here for qualifying in Singapore, the top 10 shootout, the top 10 best drivers in the world, racing around the streets of Singapore, the flood-lit city, and I cannot wait. This track is incredible. The fine margins. In fact, I'll take you through a flying lap, actually. Let's sync one up with one of the drivers going for a flying lap. Exoteric, thanks for the donation. F1 Gamer, can we see your motorcycle helmet in the face reveal too? The fans want to know. Unfortunately, my motorcycle helmet is still at my parents' house, and I haven't moved my motorcycle over to university. So that's not going to happen right now, but it could happen in the future. So thanks for the donation as well. Very much is appreciated. Okay, what was I going to do? Oh yeah, flying lap. Okay. So let's get the flying lap up, and we'll get this in sync with one of the drivers. So let's just get it coming across the start-finish line now. Yeah, just about there. Okay, so we'll go on board with Kimi Antonelli. Yeah, Kimi Antonelli is starting a flying lap here, going in towards turn number 1. And in fact, I'm driving the Mercedes as well. Perfect. So you make your way through turn number 3 here. Late apex, carry as much speed as you can through the corner here, because it carries quite a long way down the straight. Then late apex again, the wall really comes out. You've got to avoid it, or just give it a tiny little kiss to get as much lap time as you possibly can. Open the DRS, down the back straight you go. Minimize as little steering input as you can. Hard onto the brakes at the 70-meter mark. Avoid the curb on the exit. Then in towards turn number 8, braking right-hand corner. Clip the apex, stay away from the barriers, move over to the right hand side immediately, then back over to the left for the apex again. Straight line your exit for this corner, and now you're going into the tight twisty part of the lap. Very easy to make a mistake. Straight line braking, flick to the left. This part is pretty bumpy, so the drivers have to be careful. Can't go full throttle on the brake and stuff like that. George Russell, what a flying lap from him. He's on an absolutely mega one so far. And you continue on DRS now, heading towards turn number 14 for Kimi Antonelli. You get onto the brakes nice and early, use all of the exit curb on the left-hand side, and George Russell, a 129.1. That is 4/10 quicker than last year's pole time. George Russell, take a bow. What a lap from George. Wow. Kimi Antonelli is now coming out the final 2 corners much quicker than my own flying lap, and across the line he comes. He's 4/10 back from his teammate, Mr. Saturday. What a qualifying lap. I don't know if anyone's going to be able to beat that. That was pure perfection from George Russell. Incredible performance. Now let's see what the McLarens, the Ferraris and Max Verstappen can do. Ooh, this is about to get very, very exciting. Behrman and Alonso, they're about a second back, but they're also on used tyres, so keep that in mind. They should be doing better on the next set of runs. We've got Isaac Hadjar up into 3rd position. He's 6-7 tenths back there. And we have got now Lando Norris coming across the line. It's not good enough. 4 tenths back from George Russell. And here comes Charles Leclerc as well. Leclerc and Hamilton, you just can't see much purple on their flying laps because George Russell took every single thing of purple that he could get. 4th position for Charles Leclerc, 6 tenths back. Now we've got Max Verstappen. We've got Lewis Hamilton first coming across the line. And we'll see how that goes for him. He put together a very good lap in 2018. It's good enough to beat his teammates, but it's not good enough to get close to his former rival, George Russell. Max Verstappen, though, purple in the middle sector. This could be good news for Max. Here he comes then and heads towards turn number 16 and 17. Does he have enough tyre life left? Oscar Piastri, 2nd position. He's 3.5 tenths back, but that gap is enormous still. Can Max get close to George? Will George Russell just get pole position by default? I have no idea. Max does get close within 2 tenths of a second. It took a purple final sector and a purple middle sector, but the first sector just wasn't good enough. He was 2 tenths down in the first sector, and that is what cost him towards the end of that lap. Wow. George Russell, incredible. Honestly, I've got to say, one of the best laps that I've seen in a good while. All the way, every single time, it's millimeters away from the wall. Like, I don't know if there could even if there could be that many things improved. Like, just so close, all of the time. And he has a little kiss with the barriers there on the exit as well. That is actually the fastest way to go through turn number 17. Just kiss the barriers by millimeters, you know, like your rear axle. Don't let your front axle touch the barriers, but if your rear axle touches it, it's actually quicker. And George Russell judged that one to perfection. Tycho Cyclist, thanks for the donation. Welcome back to Singapore. This weekend's going to be mega. Yeah, I mean, Russell probably doesn't have the race pace. You know, his quali lap was incredible. I've got to give that to him. But I don't think the Mercedes is so good in race conditions, especially when it's hot. And yeah, that's sort of the way it goes really down at Mercedes. So tomorrow it might not be that amazing for them, but Russell's going to do his best to hold on. And if he's defending against Max Verstappen and Piastri for the entire race, I can only imagine how good that's going to be. Yeah, all right then. Probably a Mercedes podium by the looks of it. Yeah, we are. How many podiums has Mercedes actually got so far this season? They've got 8 podiums, 1 race win. So maybe they'll add on some podiums to their tally. Okay, I'm going to have a quick sip of water. So the first runs of Q3 have been completed. Leclerc, I'd like to point out, folks, Leclerc was on a used set of tyres. Hamilton was on a fresh set of tyres. So, yeah, take that into account. Leclerc will probably improve by another 2 tenths when he does his next flying lap. Behrman will do the same, so will Fernando Alonso, but they're still quite a ways off the pace. Yeah, wow. All right, we've got 35,000 people tuning in. Thanks, everyone, for tuning in. I hope you're all going to tune in for the race tomorrow, because if this is what qualifying is, the race tomorrow, with Russell starting at the front with a car that is most certainly not the quickest car around here, that is going to be a very exciting Singapore race. I think it's going to be one of those ones to remember. So, yeah. Okay. Here we go then, folks. Drivers making their way out for the final runs of Q3. It is the top 10 shootout here in the streets of Singapore. Is it hammer time? Is it glory day for George Russell? Is it time for Max Verstappen to come and spoil all the fun with do? But I don't know what's going to happen. Are we going to have a red flag? We haven't had a red flag so far. I predicted that we'd have 2 red flags during qualifying, but no so far. And let's see what happens. Okie dokes. What time is the race tomorrow? Let's have a quick look. The race tomorrow is... So whatever time it is in the world for you right now, if you go back 2 hours, that is when the race starts tomorrow. So be sure to tune into that one because it's going to be incredible. All right. Charles Leclerc is out on a fresh set now. That's good to see. But the thing is, you've got to take into account here, folks, there's 2 minutes and 44 seconds left on the clock. So the drivers that have come out first, of course, they don't run the risk of getting caught out by yellow flags. But the problem that they do face is that this is not optimal track evolution. The drivers that is going to go dead last, who I think is actually Max Verstappen. I think Verstappen is going dead last. He's going to have the best possible track conditions to do his qualifying lap in. So, yeah, Verstappen's going to have it in his favour, but is, of course, has the risk of getting caught out by yellow flags as well. So we'll see if that gamble pays off for him. But everyone's out on a fresh set of C5 tyres now. Here we go. I don't know how the papayas are 3.5 tenths off, but... Norris on a flying lap, so let's continue on board with him. He makes his way through turn number 5. That car looks like it's on rails. Like, he turns the car and it just absolutely goes. No sign of sluggishness whatsoever. And sparking away as he goes down the straight towards turn number 7. And yellow in the first sector. He's 2 tenths down on on Russell's first sector time. So, in fact, he's only a tenth quicker than Behrman and Hadjar, and same first sector time as Hadjar as well. So, not ideal there for Norris, but he could have extra tyre life left in the final sector. That is what he's banking on. Don't push too hard in the first sector, push super hard in the final sector. Okay. Russell starting a flying lap, so is Antonelli. Charles Leclerc also his first sector. He's also 2 tenths down on George Russell's first sector time. Russell, just something magical in the first sector. I don't know what he did. Norris, third fastest in the middle sector. Still not going to be enough to get pole unless this final sector is absolutely magical. And... Behrman, first driver across the line, a 129.868, 9th position for the British driver. Outqualifies his teammate by about 10 positions or so, which is very nice indeed. Lando Norris comes across the line. He improves, but unfortunately, it is only 5th position. Not enough. He does not gain any lap time. Does not gain any positions, and that is the highest he's going to qualify. Oscar Piastri starts his flying lap now with much, much better track conditions. 26 seconds remain on the clock. Max Verstappen is there, going dead last. He's going to see if he can dethrone George Russell. Russell goes purple in the middle sector again. Russell's improving. Oh my god. Verstappen starts out his flying lap with a purple mini sector as well. Quickest through the speed traps as well. This is looking very, very good. All right, here comes Hadjar. Hadjar, I think, aborts his lap, made a mistake. Into the pits he goes. It's 8th position for him by the looks of it. Here comes George Russell then. Currently on provisional pole. Can he beat it? Currently a 129.1 across the line. He improves by a few milliseconds. Those few milliseconds may prove critical to staying ahead of Max Verstappen. Kimi Antonelli, his teammate, was on a rolling Q2. Can he continue on into Q3? Unfortunately not. It is 4th position for Kimi Antonelli. Fernando Alonso, this weekend might be one of his best weekends of the season because there aren't that many good races left for Aston Martin. Across the line he comes, only 10th position for the Spaniard. Not ideal there for him. And here comes Lewis Hamilton. What is it going to be for the British driver? Can he hook together a lap for Roscoe? Across the line he comes. He stays in 6th position as well. Oh my god, nobody is improving, but Max Verstappen is. And Piastri's still got a few more corners left to go. Just Piastri and Verstappen left now, folks. Can they dethrone George Russell? No, they cannot. Piastri goes 4 tenths slower. It's down to Max Verstappen, the Flying Dutchman. He's hooked together magical laps in the past. Can he do it again? Here he comes. No, he cannot. He aborts his lap. Game over. George Russell is on pole position. What a qualifying lap. Simply sensational from George Russell. Nobody could get close. Everyone was stunned when they look at that lap time. And even the theoretical best lap times do not compare to George Russell's times. Russell, what a lap from him. What a pole position. That is so deserved. And the thing is, he probably doesn't have the race pace tomorrow, which means that it's going to be Verstappen trying to overtake Russell on the front row, which is always good news for action. Then Piastri right behind him in a quick McLaren, especially in race pace, especially in hot conditions like in Singapore. So the race tomorrow is incredible, and George Russell does something and he does get pole position, rather than the typical meme, which is George Russell does nothing and gets P3 somehow. But Mr. Saturday strikes again, and wow. There's nothing else I can describe it with. Wow. But folks, it has been an absolute pleasure commentating to you guys, and by the looks of it, we're about 100 subscribers away from 200k, which is incredible. I think we'll hit 200k tomorrow, and we'll also hit our like target tomorrow. So you will be getting a face reveal tomorrow. My my webcam is ready and ready to go. But it's been a pleasure commentating to you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to end the stream now. I'll take you over to the race stream for tomorrow. Just hit the like button, hit the reminder button so we can get to 200k. And I think that is all from me, really. Yeah, have a wonderful morning, day, afternoon, evening or night, depending on where you're on the world. I hope you're as excited for qualifying as I was. It was quite the surprising qualifying session. And regardless, you know, Max is there in second position, which is where he wants to be. He wants to be ahead of both McLarens, outscore both of them by 10 points at least for the championship's sake. So we'll see if it happens. But yeah, all right, so that's been me. Hit the like button for tomorrow's stream, hit the reminder button, and I shall see you all tomorrow for the face reveal for the Singapore Grand Prix. Wow, what a day. All right, bye-bye, folks.